Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library in our teen section with a whole new teen book spotlight. So it is week 2 of our summer reading program, Tales and Tales, and we have a whole new badge theme for you this week. This week is all about tales into movies. So we are taking a look at some books that have been turned into movies or TV shows. Some of them, maybe you have seen them and you didn't even realize that there was a book before they made it into whatever they made it into. So we're going to take a look at 6 of them. So let's get started. Our first one is Dumplin by Julie Murphy. So in the small town of Clover City, the only thing that everyone really gets excited for is the annual beauty pageant. Willow Dean never takes place in the pageant, even though it is her mother who runs it, due to her not being beauty pageant material, much to her mother's chagrin. Willow Dean has always felt comfortable with herself and her body, and she finds that she's actually gaining some confidence with herself as, a coworker starts to show some interest in her. When she decides to enter the beauty pageant on a whim, though, she starts to learn about herself, as well as she kind of starts leading this mini revolution and inspiring others to do the same. And the beauty pageant turns into something that it never has been in the past. But this story is so much more than a beauty pageant story, though. This book is all about friendship, the meaning of life, family, and self-acceptance, and there is some Dolly Parton spread throughout. So if you love you some Dolly Parton, make sure to check out Dumplin. The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is a classic. So 12-year-old Jonas grows up in a society in the future in which there is no choice, there is no pain, there's no controversy, and everything is controlled by a group of elders. When you turn 12 years old, you are given your assignment, and that's going to be what your job or role is for the rest of your life. When it is Jonas's time, he is given the assignment as a receiver. This is a prestigious elder position who holds memories from the community, which, if these people held on to their memories, then that could actually lead to what they call disorders, or things like, falling in love or feeling pain. So it is up to the receiver to hold all of those memories so none of those things happen in the community. When he starts to work with this person who's also known as the Giver, he learns about colors for the first time. Like, he has never seen colors, or the weather, places, events, which are things that people never get to experience in this society. As he learns more about the world that they could be living in, Jonas must decide what he is willing to do with all of the knowledge and memories he has gained. And depending on what he chooses to do, it could literally change everything. The first in a quartet, this dystopian science fiction classic, is one that is a must read and will make you think and wonder in ways you never have before. This is The Giver. To All the Boys I've Loved Before. So over the years, Laura Jean has started to like and then fall in love with a guy, even though they probably had no idea that she even existed, let alone what her feelings are for them. And then when she would kind of get to the end of her feelings about them, she would write them a goodbye letter, letting them know, how she felt, but, that she's not really in love with them anymore. And it was kind of a way for her to say goodbye to them. These letters were never supposed to be seen by anyone but her. But when they are accidentally mailed out one day, her life turns upside down. She's freaking out, she's completely embarrassed. And then, to make matters worse, her current crush, Josh, she's trying to convince herself that she's over him. She writes this letter. Josh is actually her older sister's ex-boyfriend, which just makes the situation even more awkward. And then there's Peter. Peter also gets another letter from Laura Jean, and he makes a proposition to her. He wants to try to make his ex-girlfriend jealous. So he asks Laura Jean, would they be able to pretend date in order to make the ex-girlfriend jealous? And she agrees, but then things start to get a little too real between Laura Jean and Peter. As Laura Jean is trying to figure out all of this going on in her life, she's also trying to be an older sister and a mother to her younger sister, Kitty. And she needs to juggle everything that's going on in her love life, in her family life, with her friendships. The first in a trilogy of this laugh-out-loud romantic comedy. If you want a lighthearted read that at times will make you cringe in awkwardness, to all the boys I've loved before. Paper Towns by John Green. And if you've read some John Green before, you know you're in for a treat with this one. So Quentin is one of the smart kids. He's a high school senior who just graduated, and he has been in love with his next door neighbor, Margot, for years. Even though she's kind of almost like the opposite of him, and that he's known as the smart kid, she's known as like the rebel kid with the bad reputation. Well, they used to be close friends when they were younger. As the years went by, they grew apart, making Quentin very surprised and curious when Margot shows up at his window one evening during the summer, and she enlists his help with what she wants to do. Before they all leave, they disperse wherever they go at the end of summer and off to the new chapters in their lives. She wants to go on this score-settling spree filled with pranks and jokes, and she wants to get revenge against her cheating boyfriend. And Quentin agrees to help. But just as suddenly she appeared that one night, she once again disappears once the evening is over, and Quentin decides he needs to figure out what happened to Margot, because he's left with the worst possible thought about what she may have done to herself, given the comments she has said and what they did that evening. Plus, she has left him a clue, or what he thinks is a clue, and he's the only one who got it. This leads Quentin to go on a scavenger hunt that will change his life. If you love your reads with some mystery, friendship, philosophical thinking, and wondering about the meaning of life, please make sure to read this one. This is Paper Towns. The sun is also a star. So it is Natasha's last day in New York City before she and her family are deported back to Jamaica. They've been living in the country illegally, and due to this really weird series of events, they are now being deported back from the only home she has ever really known. Daniel is on the way to an interview that will seal his path to Yale and into the field of medicine, even though that is not what he wants to do. But that is the expectation his family has for him. They soon find themselves meeting randomly at a record store, and they instantly fall in love. And Daniel convinces Natasha to spend the day with him, with the 12 hours that they literally have left together in the same city. While they're spending this day together, though, they are trying to change the directions that both of them are seeing that their lives are taking, and are doing everything they can to stop them in the way that they are going. The story is told through both of their points of view, and if you love your realistic fiction with some drama and some heavy romantic aspects, this one's a must-read. This is The Sun is Also a Star. And our last one for this week is All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. So Theodore Finch, who's also known as Finch, and Violet Markey end up meeting each other on the ledges of their school's bell tower, 6 stories off the ground. Finch, who is also known as the Freak, talks Violet down from making this decision to jump off. But everyone thinks that she is the one who talked him down. And she lets people think that way because Violet does not want to admit that she has not been in control of herself ever since her sister dies, and she doesn't even know where to start with life. When they get partnered up for a class project and the two then start to travel around Indiana, they start to change as individuals. Violet starts to regain her life and works through her grief. Well, it's Finch who is slowly starting to spiral, and when they start to fall in love, Violet realizes that there is more going on to Finch than what meets the eye. Told in both points of view, this is a frank look at mental illness and the impact it has on individuals and the people around them. It is romantic and heartbreaking at the same time. You might need some tissues out as you read All the Bright Places. So these are just 6 of the books that we have here at Bowman that are books that have been turned into movies or TV shows. So we encourage you to come on out, check out one of these, or we can help you find another one. And make sure, if you're interested in signing up for summer reading, or even if you have, you need to go to hanleyregional.org/youth summer reading. All the information is there on how to sign up or to log into your account, because remember, this book talk counts as one of your activities for our Tales into Movie badge for this week. I hope you tune back next week when we have a whole new Tales in Tales summer reading theme.